and extend the nation's longest winning streak. The Stanford Cardinal enter their home field. It is Pac-12 of football on Versus. Welcome, along with Glenn Parker, Ted Robinson at Stanford Stadium, where Stanford is building on the legitimacy it created last year. A top-flight, top 10 team, led by one of the nation's premier players. Andrew Luck wasn't even supposed to be back this year. He chose to come back and play, Glenn, and you've got this pinpointed at far more than just his throwing.
Well, absolutely. You know, you could talk about throwing, but you said the word led by this guy. Andrew Luck is the complete quarterback. When I say that, when you come back and you show that promise to your friends, you show you're going to do the little things to win. You knock people off. You come up and you're running the ball and you knock people over. You throw that soup bone at them. And if you don't have the ball, you say, you know what, get it in my hand one way or another. Andrew Luck is a complete quarterback, and I mean he does every little thing to be a leader on field and off.
And the one thing that Luck doesn't pile up extraordinary numbers because Stanford's offense has great balance, Akbar Bajabiamilu.
Well, that's right. The balance for Stanford's offense really starts with the offensive attack on the ground, and that's their power run game. Stanford's done an excellent job in that area, and that's all headed by Stephon Taylor. And in order for him to take the ground that belongs to him, the offensive line is going to have to block and get him up to the next level. Andrew Luck will have a ton of weapons to choose from in tonight's game.
But the defense for Colorado will all focus on trying to stop Andrew Luck, a man that draws great praise from other coaches in the Pac-12, many of them quarterbacks themselves.
Andrew Luck is the complete quarterback. He's a tremendous weapon for Stanford.
His command of their offense is pretty special. By far, I think his number one attribute is decision making.
It's just what he brings to the game, his intelligence, his competitiveness.
He can run. He's quite a threat.
Just a brilliant early fall day in Northern California. You can see the lights on for the eventual use, but a cloudless sky, a gorgeous day. And Stanford has not lost a game since they lost at Oregon the first week of last October. Meanwhile, John Embry, who was an outstanding player at Colorado, hired to resurrect this program on its move to the Pac-12. And they have had two gut punch losses at home. Overtime to Cal, and then last week gave up 2 touchdowns in the last 3 minutes on their field to lose to Washington State. Will Oliver kicking off. Colorado deferred to the second half. Oliver kicks off very high, very short. Racing up, and the kick is muffed by Stanford. And it is Colorado on the recovery. A short kick that Stanford muffed, and the live ball belongs to the Buffaloes.
That's right, a little pooch kick. Get it up, get it high, get it in front of that back line. Make them make a decision to come up. A little slow in making that decision. The ball comes free. Colorado's got a little bit of little momentum here early.
And it looked like John Major, the linebacker, starting linebacker for the Buffaloes. John Major fielded that ball after Stanford did not secure it. So Colorado has a chance. On a rarity, a turnover to start the game by Stanford. Tyler Hansen, senior quarterback. Quick ball to the near side to Canty, and he's wrapped up right away and finished off by Stanford's Chase Thomas. And of course, we talked in our pregame about Tyler Hansen, the senior quarterback, who missed most of last year with a ruptured spleen. But he is really handicapped today because Colorado very thin at wide receiver.
Yeah, both Cephalo and Richardson out. That's a lot of production for them. He's going to have to find some other weapons. Someone's going to have to step up. When you rebuild, that's what it's all about.
Hansen has thrown 11 touchdowns, only 2 intercepts this year. This is their best running back. A lot comes in a very small package for Rodney Stewart. And he punches it inside the 30 as we look at the Colorado starting lineup. David Bakhtiari.
Yeah, local kid coming back, left tackle out of Burlingame, getting his chance here.
And there's Rodney Stewart. They list him at 5'6", 175, and because they're so thin at wide receiver with Paul Richardson out today, Colorado may lean on Stewart even more.
Well, first short yardage, I'd look to go right over Ryan Miller, my right guard. He's my grinder, my bell cow.
3rd down and 2. Offset left, they run strong side pitch, and Stewart, nice cutback. So Colorado running a little toss there. and trying to show Stanford, all right, we know you're going to smack us. We're going to try to hit you first.
That's right. Let's get into a brawl. And you take a look at the line here. Bend and sweep. Both guard and tackle pull. Get to that edge. Get a little bit of a crease. It's pretty easy on a pitch to get 1 or 2 yards if you're moving north and south.
It's the very thing John Embry told us about this game. He said, look, we know Stanford is so physical. They're going to come out and hit us and keep hitting us, and it's a question of how we respond.
That's right. You want to know your kids don't mind getting punched and will punch back.
By the way, who has ever said that about a Stanford team in the past? Stanford's going to come out and be physical? Boot. And Hanson's got a man. Nice curl to the sideline by Canty. And this is going to be 1st and goal. Keenan Canty, 5'9", second year in the Colorado program. That's good for 14 yards. The Lee Jean Stanford defense.
Ben Gardner, big, tall kid, starting to settle in. Smart, physical guy, according to the coaches.
Their best defender, Shane Scove, inside backer, out for the year. But keep an eye, senior Chase Thomas, another signature player.
And in the backfield, we look Batamosi. There's a kid who has been a leader for this team.
3 seniors, very experienced secondary for Stanford. On 1st down, Stewart, and there's Chase Thomas, the man we talked about. I spoke last night to Vic Fangio, who really helped orchestrate this great defense last year for Stanford. He went to the San Francisco 49ers, but he said that's the young man you really want to watch a guy play on the Stanford defense. It's Chase Thomas.
Absolutely, and on film he shows up time and time again. Side to side, when they go to nickel and he puts his hand down on the edge rush, this kid's explosive. He's got a lot of suddenness on him.
There you see Stanford's red zone defense has been very strong. Just 5 touchdowns allowed in 12 trips by the opponents. That's 2nd best in the Pac-12. Run it again. Stewart trying to bounce. And there's the speed from that secondary. Another player. This is a young man that the Colorado coaches talked to us a lot about, Michael Thomas, flying up to make the first hit.
Yeah, they're very impressed with the secondary. Everybody, both Eric Bieniemy talked about the corners coming up to make plays, and you see it here. Quite a play by Michael Thomas, playing safety, coming up in the scene and making a play.
All right, now what does Colorado do here? They're in what you would expect to be safe field goal range. Do you throw here?
At this point, yeah, I'm taking a throw. I'm taking 1 shot at the end zone, making sure only my guy gets a chance at the ball, no turnovers.
3rd down from the 12 of Stanford. Stewart offset. Hanson looking middle, pass through the hands. Would have been well short of a 1st down through the hands of his tight end, Ryan Dehan. And so Colorado now will send the field goal team out to try to capitalize on this 1st turnover and at least get something on the board.
That's right. And you know, the thing is, in talking with Coach Bieniemy, the offensive coordinator, yesterday, there's a lot of pressure on you to keep up. Because you know they're going to get the ball and they're going to grind for 8 minutes and put a score up on you.
Not going to win this game 10-3, are you?
No, you're not.
All right, freshman kicker is Will Oliver. 29 yards. He's only missed 1 this year, and Stanford blocks it, and they may go the other way. Stanford blocks the kick, and they will run it back. Max Bergen. Colorado got punched in the gut at the end of their game last week, and they get another shot right here at the beginning of this game.
Bergen right through the A gap. He gets the block. He gets the recovery. He gets the score. You've got to be smarter on special teams. You block the gap, not the man.
I mean, Max Bergen was on top of the kicker. He literally took that ball off the kicker's foot. Special teams has been a major concern for John Embry and Colorado, and you can see why.
Well, you're going to see Max Bergen come right through that A gap.
And that was too easy for Stanford. Well done by Max Bergen. 7-0.
So good.
Well, Stanford muffed the opening kick of the game to give Colorado a chance, and Stanford steals it right back. A field goal block, and the man that's going to feel great about that is the special teams coach for Stanford, a very well-regarded assistant, Brian Polian. And if that's a familiar name, it ought to be. He's the son of the president of the Indianapolis Colts. Bill Polian. Brian Polian was an assistant coach on Charlie Weiss's staff at Notre Dame, and then last year Jim Harbaugh brought him here to Stanford.
I've known Brian since he was a kid. He was a ball boy on our Bills teams back in the early 90s.
His bouncing kick fielded by Rodney Stewart. Running back kicks for Colorado, who's out across the 30-yard line. All right, Glenn Parker, show us a little special teams play.
When I say block the gap, knock the man, here's what I'm talking about. Right here and right here. He falls down, he blocks out. There is no one in the middle of that gap, that A gap. Bergen will go right through untouched. Block the gap, not the man.
And is that something that a Brian Polian would see in film, study for this game, and put in during the week?
Absolutely.
That's a gap you can attack like that?
Absolutely. He can know that if he gets a center that overextends or a guard that's not paying attention, he can yank him and pull him to the side and get that exact gap opening that he wanted.
So Max Bergen, who is a starting inside linebacker for Stanford, generating the special teams play, and now Colorado starts its second possession from its own 32. And an issue there, I believe, with the play clock. Tyler Hansen motioning to Michael Batlin, who is the referee today.
Delay a game on the offense, number 9. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Tyler Hansen's protests didn't matter. Colorado loses 5 yards. Akbar?
Well, we talked earlier at the top of the show. We talked to Coach Shaw, and we talked about complacency. How do you guard against complacency? Well, that's how you guard against it. The sideline is full of energy right now based on the fact that Max took it to the house.
Yep. 82 yards on the return of the blocked field goal by Bergen. So Colorado starts with a long first. And a swing that's overthrown, trying to run Stewart out of the backfield.
A very well-designed play. Tyler Hansen has to make this throw. When you're looking at 4-deep zone, the DBs are turning and running with the wide receiver. It's a total clear out. You've got 10, 15 yards in front of the back. Got to put this ball right on the back.
And again, for Tyler Hansen today, Paul Richardson, who's been his go-to receiver both last year as a freshman. Paul Richardson had a nearly 300-yard game this year.
That's right.
As a receiver against Cal, you take that weapon away from him.
And someone has to step up.
Stanford shows the inside blitz. Lancaster coming in. Nice avoidance. Well, that's a good play by Hansen. Jarek Lancaster, the man who's replacing Shane Scove in the Stanford defense, got in, and Hansen did a great job to turn that potential sack into a plus.
That's right, and it's the little things that help you get ahead. Nice job by Tyler Hansen. Again, getting past Lancaster, getting himself positive yards. But what hurts this Colorado team is it's one play here, one play there. You saw the penalty for 5. The chance to get 10 or 15 back is missed. Now you scramble, you get 6, and you face 3rd and long. You're so far behind the chains.
That run for 6 at least gives Colorado some shot here. It's 3rd and 9. Pressure again, and eventually Hansen gets hammered.
Blake Luters made a beautiful move. Coming from the backer spot, he completely swam the man blocking him. Watch him, he'll come through, number 43. Swims the guard, swims the running back for a big hit.
And the last 2 plays, we've seen the occupational hazard of having a Rodney Stewart as your back. So small. He just got run over twice in a row by linebackers.
Yes, he did. And you know, Stanford wants to brawl. They're going to bring those big guys and try to smack him around.
Very short punt by a freshman, O'Neal, but he gets a nice kick and bounce. So it's going to end up looking good on the stat sheet. And Stanford gets pushed back close to its own 20-yard line, which means we'll finally get a chance to see Andrew Luck on the field with Stanford up 7. College football on Versus, brought to you by Foster's, Australian for beer. And by the new Capital One Cash Card for the people who want 50% more cash. The Hoover Tower, one of the signature sites here on the Stanford campus. We're in Palo Alto, California, about 35 miles south of San Francisco. And the best time of the year in Northern California, September and October. Weather is spectacular. It's why for years this has been known as quarterback U. Andrew Luck is obviously one of the greats to play here, and a long list of tremendous quarterbacks.
That is absolutely the truth, and probably, at this point in his career, the best at this level.
Stanford first offensive play, and they already lead 7-0. Taylor inside, wrapped up short game. Wish he got near the 25 as we look at the Stanford offense with our Lee starting lineups.
All right, up front, I'll tell you right now, David DeCastro might be the best guard in all of college football.
Glenn Parker's been waiting to say that all week long. And if you saw the highlights of last week's game, you saw one of the great catches of all time by one of those spectacular tight ends, Kobe Fleener. But there's DeCastro. Glenn Parker is going to break down guard play for you today like you've not heard.
I'll tell you, it is a joy to watch this offensive line, in particular David DeCastro, block.
Luck on second. Slant to Whalen. Griff Whalen is across the 40. And there's a Stanford first down. Andrew Luck routinely completes 70% of his throws.
And it's because he has a command of the offense and knows where to go. When he steps back, he sees where the safety is. He sees where the safety help is, knows where the hole in the defense is going to be, and puts it right on point.
Andrew Luck is in his 4th year at Stanford. He will get a degree in the spring, but it's only his 3rd year playing football. Remarkable that he would have been that highly picked and that highly thought of after just 2 years had he chosen to go pro. Hits the underneath cross again to Whalen, and quickly Stanford is down near the Colorado 40. And let's look now at our Lee starting lineups and the Colorado defense.
Well, Chidi Uzodiribe, speed guy. A lot of speed coming off the edge, but they got to get the third and long to highlight that.
John Embry even said if there's a leader on our defense, Douglas Rippey has emerged as a junior inside backer, and this is the question mark, secondary.
Jason Espinoza was a wide receiver until about 2 weeks ago, and here he sits. He's got to play corner for you. He's a team player, but don't know how much that helps you against Andrew Luck.
Espinoza converted. He was an offensive player until just about a month ago. Stephon Taylor. He got hit in the backfield by Rippey and falls forward to gain a yard. We mentioned Colorado suspended 5 players this week. John Embry said it was an internal. It was team rules, team issues. 4 of the 5 players were defensive backs. Only 1 was a starter, and he was injured at the moment, but still, it thinned out that position dramatically.
Certainly did. It took a lot of the backups out. But when you are new and you're rebuilding, you set the standard, and if that's the standard, you stick with it.
Taylor in the middle, and he looked like he was going to get through to the second level, and he got popped.
Early on, what Colorado's doing well is they're disrupting the pulls, and they're understanding where the angles are and how to get to them to start attacking the power and the counter. But it's a long game. It can wear on you.
Now here's where Stanford really scrambles you on the defensive side. Greg Brown, the Colorado D coordinator, talks about this. When they start hurrying up on you,
yeah, he said you don't know where they line up, who's on the field, or where they're going.
And you've got tight ends spread out wide. Luck throws that little post up the middle. And it's one of those tight ends. Levine Toilolo. Yeah. When did tight ends become 6'8"?
Yeah, 6'8", 260 pounds, running the seam route. What you've got, take a look, double safeties can't get back to that seam because they've spread out wide for the stop routes.
27 yards, and they run up and go no huddle. This time Colorado defends the run by Taylor. Good group hit there. Ray Polk, another convert. Colorado, like Stanford, has taken a lot of offensive players and turned them into defensive backs, and Ray Polk is one of them.
Out of necessity for Colorado having to do this with so many injuries and so many defections by team rule, I guess is how you could call it. You've got to find talent where it is.
Still shaking my head at 6'8" tight ends.
Especially ones that can run like that.
UCLA had one here last week. Joseph Fourier caught a couple of touchdowns against Stanford.
And they've got a mismatch with Toilolo now in pure height.
Toilolo, can he beat his man in the end zone? No. Good low tackle there by Greg Henderson, who is a first-year freshman, forced right into a starting lineup for Colorado, and he stopped Toilolo from at least running over.
Yeah, and Toilolo comes from the right side and see him cross back under, confusing the defense. Safety bites up on the under route, leaving Toilolo on the drag completely open.
And now Stanford trying to power it in, and they do with Stephon Taylor. Now Stanford there didn't just power it down the field. They threw the ball on Colorado and got big chunk plays, ending it though with the power.
This is the pick your poison when you play Stanford. Yes, you can commit to stopping that power run, but if you do, you've got the wrong personnel on to fight those tight ends in the passing game, and Andrew Luck can find anybody open down the field.
5th touchdown this year for Stephon Taylor. Jordan Williamson hits the upright. So Williamson smacks the extra point right off an upright. That Stanford still now a 2-touchdown lead.
And Stephon Taylor brings it home for you. Following his blockers, doing what everybody talks about this offense, control and power.
When you look at the Stanford roster, you understand Stanford University is a school that has an international student body. The football team reflects that, maybe not international, but they're from all over the country. There's a young running back from Texas here, Stephon Taylor.
When you have academic standards like they do, you have to find the best athlete that meets those standards no matter where he's at in the country. And believe it or not, for your recruiters, they tend to pop right out across the national scene for you.
Here's Williamson with the kickoff. Again, Colorado has really struggled on special teams, and they'll have to let that ball go into the end zone. Last week, John Embry said he was putting starters. He put 7 and 8 starters back out on special teams. Here's Rodney Stewart, their running back, is running back both kicks and punts. John Embry said he's going to play covers for me, too. He's going to be on the kick cover team.
You have to have your best players out there. And, you know, great programs know that. USC uses Robert Woods as a return man. You have to do that if you want to be good. The reason they're your best players is because they show up, man. Special teams, 1/3 of the game, get them out there.
It also, though, when you say, Glenn, it does highlight you're a little thin when you do that. If you're a little thin.
You're a little thin, you're gonna have some holes.
All right, Stewart goes to the side. Tony Jones gets the chance to run, and there's Stanford piling them up. And Stanford's a program that understands that for years here. Stanford had to do the same thing. They had to put starters on special teams because they had frontline players, but not the great depth.
Well, when I take a look at this Colorado team, and I know watching film with Akbar, it just seemed like it was one miss after another miss. It was never a whole series. It was just a play here and a play there. Isn't that right, Akbar?
Glenn, that's exactly what Coach Embry was talking about, finishing the play, and that's what we've not seen from Colorado's being able to finish and execute those. It's not that they are not a very good team, it's just that they don't have the small little things, and that's the finish part of it.
The play clock expired.
It's an infraction on the offense.
Oh, no.
12 players breaking the huddle at the same time. 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
It's a correction there. It was a substitution issue.
That falls under the category of the small things.
Well, you're right, Akbar, and for Colorado, though, that's been a huge thing. They have been penalized more than any team in the top tier of college football. They are 120th, dead last.
And not understanding the substitution pattern is a product of a new offensive system and new coaches.
A lot of different personnel having to play. Hansen throws a little slant. Well done. Tony Clemens, transfer into Colorado, started out as Michigan, and he runs that up, and he may have a first down there. Yep, they're going to move the sticks. That's a first down at the 30.
What you do is you run play action pass, counter back, and just throw the slant to the backside. What this does is you know you've got man when you put anybody in motion, and allows you then to understand that the backside slant will be open underneath the safety or corner.
And usually with that one-on-one, when you have man-to-man situation, it's going to be, is my guy better than you? That's what football really comes down to.
You're right, Akbar. That was Clemens against Terrence Brown of Stanford. And a good throw, 16 yards and a first down. Trouble here, but Hansen gets it out to Tony Jones, in the right flat, and Tony Jones gets 3.
I remember last night talking with Coach Bieniemy, he said, I wish I had another year with Tyler Hansen, because he grasped this entire West Coast offense now. How good could he be if we had a whole nother year? You saw it right there. When you run it naked and there's pressure in your face, where do I go with the ball? Found it very easily.
There's Eric Bieniemy, the all-time leading running back at Colorado, although, again, we think Stewart will break that record this year. But Eric Bieniemy coming back. He'd been in the NFL, been with the Minnesota Vikings, and came back here to team up with John Embry. They were basically both candidates for the head coaching job, and they both said, listen, whichever one of us gets this job, we're going to hire the other one to be the O coordinator.
That's a good thing to have, isn't it? If when you have that much confidence in your, not only your opposition, but the other coach.
And Eric Bieniemy trying to. You can see the fire. We heard a little bit of it from Eric yesterday. That's that fire he's trying to instill in his team. Well, the NHL on Versus continues Monday night. Steven Stamkos and the Lightning, Alex Ovechkin and the Capitals headline players. And then on Wednesday, the Bruins put those Stanley Cup rings back in the safe for a night. They'll battle the Hurricanes. Hockey back on Versus.
Excited for hockey. Eric Bieniemy excited to have his offense get a first down, get moving.
Well, frustration, you kind of see it bubbling over from Bieniemy. It's been a big story for Colorado this past week. John Embry, he was emotional after their loss to Washington State last week. Stewart back in the game. Wrapped up there, it might be a best-of-no game. John Embry went off, and it's obvious. Again, it's what Jim Harbaugh did here 4 years ago. You have a program that's mired in losing, and you have to break that mindset somehow.
You have to break the mindset that somehow that team wearing that logo is so much better than you. You're used to playing your own guys and competing and thinking we're pretty good. Then you go out and mentally you're beat because they have a different logo on.
Third down. Now long third. Rodney Stewart has just 6 yards on 5 carries. Pressure forcing Hansen to get it out fast. So Stanford dialing up pressure. A quick out to Stewart. Even if he had caught it, he would have been walloped.
And I'll tell you, Chase Thomas shows up off the edge, unblocked. He better get a shot on the quarterback, and he does.
Glenn, what also shows up is the fact that Terrence Brown, from the field level, you can really see how fast he is in closing down on that wide receiver. That was a heavy and hellacious hit.
There's Dara O'Neill, 2 freshman kickers for Colorado this year. O'Neill had a 53-yarder punt and roll. This one being run back. Oh, and that was dangerously close. Drew Terrell almost got through. He got out near midfield.
Last time Stanford had the ball, Andrew Luck had to make some plays. So he finds Griff Whalen on a little in route deep. Then he comes back, a little drag to Whalen with a little movement in the pocket. You see how good he is at understanding where he's got to go. Then it's Toilolo down right to the end zone. And again, Toilolo getting himself down the field. I'll tell you, Andrew Luck, very good at understanding where to go with the ball pre-snap. That is a huge advantage for any team.
Now Luck on that drive, 4 for 4 for 72 yards. So most of the yards on that touchdown drive were Luck through the air. There was a penalty against Stanford that wipes out the punt return here, a hold that pushes the ball back to the 18. David Shaw, who played here at Stanford. In fact, the last time these two teams played a football game, David Shaw was on the field as a wide receiver for Stanford. Caught a pass in that game. Now Luck changes the play. Gives it up inside Tyler Gaffney. There was a huge story around Stanford this week because during their game last Saturday against UCLA, David Shaw let Andrew Luck call his own plays several times in the game, and you would think it was revolutionary.
Yeah, and in today's world of the spread and looking over to the sideline, it is.
And as we talked to David Shaw about it, it's just confidence, right? It's confidence that Luck knows what he's doing now.
Absolutely. The reason coaches usually don't allow it is they don't have confidence in themselves.
Look at the open receiver. First of all, the time, and then secondly, running again those tight ends. Zach Ertz running up the right hash for 24.
And what you're seeing now, Andrew Luck, Stanford, understanding he's got personnel mismatches. Let's speed this thing up. Don't let him get anybody else on the field.
Well, first down for Stanford. Final 2 minutes of the first quarter that has been all Stanford. A special teams score. And then Luck driving him down the field. Luck Stepped up and then flipped it ahead. Tyler Gaffney on the catch. He's got a first down to the 46. Colorado. One of the things, Glenn, that you would appreciate this, I mean, for Andrew Luck coming back, is he needs time, right?
Yes, yeah, he does. He needs, you got to protect this guy.
What was I say? They had 3 of their 5 starting offensive linemen graduate after last year. Yet he decided, he agreed to come back.
If you're one of the guys that replaced one of the guys that left, how much confidence does that give you that he felt good enough that you could protect him?
The left tackle Martin and the right guard DeCastro were the 2 returning starters on the Stanford offensive front. And Gaffney, Tyler Gaffney, who's in the Stanford tradition. He's an outstanding 2-sport athlete, plays on their high-end level baseball team here.
Run the power. Watch David DeCastro right here. Perfect. Find his hole and come up. That's all he had to do. There it is. Boom. Right his outside hip. Get outside and start moving. I'll tell you, David DeCastro understands the power as well as any guard in football right now. He gets where he's going, what his aiming point is, and the fact that he might have to skirt some piles.
So 8 yards on that first down run by Gaffney. And now running it down inside the 35, getting a first down as Anthony Wilkerson, and this is another trademark of what Stanford has created here. Once Toby Gerhardt's time was up, multiple running backs.
That's right, and what they're good at, you know, obviously the running backs are taught the right way, but they're getting edge blocking from their wide receivers and their tight ends. Their left tackle, Martin, is setting corners for them. They can run outside zone, they can run power, they can run counter, all of them effectively.
Well, Colorado had a chance to jump out here and score the first points, but Stanford stopped Colorado in the red zone, and then special teams stole the day. Max Bergens, 82-yard return of a blocked field goal, fueling Stanford to a 13-0 first quarter lead.
Versus.
Stanford up 13-0 on Colorado. These teams playing for the first time ever in the Pac-12 conference. And Stanford's offense winds up ruling the first quarter in our Foster's game stats. 125 yards of offense. Stanford just staggering on the year, Glenn. Stanford's averaging 7 yards a play this season, for the season.
Control.
Are they on the field?
Knowing what you're supposed to do, knowing where you're supposed to be. It's a mature team and a mature offense.
And Luck has them in position again here. 35-yard line to start the second quarter. Out of the eye. And hammering it down inside the 30-yard line. Yet another running back. It's Jeremy Stewart, who's a fifth-year back. He was more of a feature back as a freshman here, and injuries have curtailed his career, but he runs there for 6 yards.
And what guys like me and ex-NFLers love about this offense is it's a lot of it's the same play. It's just run out of 20 different formations and personnel groups and motions and shifts. It's beautiful football.
There, who's only been sacked twice this year, held that a while, then threw one dangerously close to Ray Polk, Colorado safety. Well, he was a great golfer here at Stanford, and he is a huge Stanford fan. Tiger Woods is playing in a PGA Tour event, which is about 45 minutes south of this campus this weekend. And, well, he had some great memories on this field as well.
Yes, he did. One of the greats.
Now running the Denver Broncos football operations, John Elway. Wonderful story. Great connections. There's an inside screen that's missed over the middle. Intended for Ty Montgomery, a freshman receiver. Oliver Luck grew up, spent the first years of his life in Frankfurt, Germany, where his father was running a professional football team, part of what became NFL Europe. And Oliver Luck, the general manager, the first coach that he hired, Andrew remembered watching as a kid, was Jack Elway, John's father. who had also been a head coach here at Stanford.
That's correct.
So you have 6 degrees of separation there. And John sitting on the Colorado sideline, but great performances and memories on this field. Williamson missed it. And 47, Jordan Williamson, that's his first missed field goal of the year. And so John Elway watching on the Colorado side, hoping the Buffs can get something going. Stanford up 13-0, early second quarter at Stanford Stadium. Every week, Versus dives deep into the NFL inside the locker room and on the field to see which turning points alter the week's big games. NFL Turning Point airs Thursday night, 10 East on Versus. John Elway will be flying back home. He's now running fortunes for the Denver Broncos. They'll be hosting San Diego in Denver tomorrow.
Good AFC West rivalry there.
So Colorado starting from its 29. Tyler Hansen 4 of 7 throwing so far. Moved and then does a nice job moving in further. Tyler Hansen runs it all the way out close to a Colorado first down, but there is a flag down back in the pocket.
Hard part as an offensive
Holding.
lineman.
76 on the offense.
Is seeing that
10-yard
flag.
penalty.
Offensive linemen hate
First
that
down.
flag.
They hate that flag. And the hard part is, okay, you're the center. All right, Gus Handler, he's blocking. Well, everybody's taking off trying to catch the quarterback, and when the quarterback starts scrambling, you don't know that. So you start grabbing and trying to keep him off. Remember, that's the only position in sports where the object of the game is always at your back. You never really looking at the object of the game.
So now Colorado backed up into a long first down. Look at how widespread Stanford is on its defensive front. Very common, and then Tony Clemens made a nice effort there to try and drag one foot in, but did not.
He also did a really nice job on the route of coming back and giving his scrambling quarterback a chance to find an open receiver.
Boy, there you can see it, Glenn. It's a great call. You saw at the tail end of that replay there. Here. Boy, he comes back 5 yards.
Yeah, trying to help a scrambling quarterback. That scramble drill. Get back. Help your quarterback.
He's a receiver that John Embry and Eric Bieniemy were telling us has really done a nice job. He was not maybe in the best of standing early in their tenure here, but he's really progressed and pulled himself up into a big position.
Absolutely. Now this is a pressure down generally. They do bring it.
And a dump off to Stewart who makes one man miss. Look at Stewart. This is Rodney Stewart. He's got a chance to go all the way here. He needs one more block. Tiptoeing the sideline, and Stanford finally runs him out, but Rodney Stewart gives Colorado what it needs, a big play.
Well, when you get pressure, you throw to where pressure was. They run a screen into it, which is perfect, and now you let your athlete run.
Tightrope the sideline there, and it was not a real good view by a referee whether he was out of bounds, so he gets down to the 5-yard line. That is a 76-yard pass play from Hansen to Stewart. First and goal. Tipped in the back of the end zone. That's a dangerous throw by Hansen.
Delano Howell there playing safety, got himself into that window. Really, probably mad at himself for not coming up with that pick.
Tyler McCullough was the intended Colorado receiver.
And here you're going to get a look. Hansen tends to stare down that receiver and never saw Howell sitting underneath in that window.
Well, Colorado has already failed once in the red zone. It cost them terribly. They can't let this opportunity go. Tony Jones still in the backfield, so Stewart is on the sideline after the long run. Inside screen, nice call. Touchdown, Colorado. Very nice play by the Buffs. And a little inside screen to Tony Jones.
Well, when you show tendency to throw screen in the red zone, you run a play that looks just like it, but come back underneath. Really well designed by Eric Bieniemy and his Colorado staff to get themselves on the board.
So the Buffaloes give themselves life thanks to the big run by Rodney Stewart with a screen pass. And now Will Oliver puts through the extra point, and suddenly Colorado's right back in this game.
You have to take advantage of pressure situations if you're offense. You come out, it's a blitz down, you hit the screen, right into pressure. Rodney Stewart gets you 76 yards, and then you come right back with it again with a touchdown against pressure.
Xfinity.
This is really one of the reasons why Colorado's move to the Pac-12 they felt made so much sense. Huge student draw from California for Colorado, and it's very clear everybody wants to recruit, especially Southern California.
And Colorado has a history of recruiting Southern California, the Inland Empire. They've got a lot of their best players from there over the years.
Great job on the screen. Great job on the screen.
Steve Marshall, the offensive line coach, long time. We worked for Frank Beamer for a long time at Virginia Tech. Encouraging his own line there, so Colorado gives himself a jolt. Now they need to find a way to stop Stanford. Stanford not using Chris Owusu here early in this game, a dynamic kick returner. And he sends a short kick. Montgomery runs it out to the 36.
Well, looking at this screen that sets up the touchdown, Lancaster right here is in blitz mode. They've got pressure here, but look at these offensive linemen. They're going to get out to block. When you have a huge hole behind the line of scrimmage into pressure, it sets up the screen perfectly. Rodney Stewart, great job with his vision, getting in and making a lot of yards after the catch. That was set up for a first down gain of maybe 15, and he gets the rest on his own. Really well designed.
All right, so now Stanford shows what would you call a pistol look there to that formation. The underneath throw. Fleener gets his hands on it, but he's run out of bounds for a very short game.
So we see Kobe Fleener. He's been in the game. He's been blocking, his hand in the dirt. Comes out. It's a small gain. It's only good for 4. But now you've got another weapon. If you're one of these Colorado defenders, you're looking, wait a minute, there's another tight end. We saw him split out once. We saw him in the end of the line once. Where is he going to line up now?
Patrick Mankey there made the play on Fleener. So 4 yards on first down for Luck and Stanford. And now here they go in this formation that confuses defenses because those wideouts are tight ends.
That's right. Hard to defend them.
Luck escapes. Well, that throw, and you'll see Andrew Luck do this at least once a game, is why the pro scouts, everybody drools. That's an extraordinary throw that he makes look so easy.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the footwork here. See, as he comes back, he's going to scramble. But now watch his hips and his feet turn all the way, again, parallel to the line of scrimmage, and get power on that ball, zip on that ball. That makes pro scouts drool.
26 yards, and I mean, the point we're talking about here is a quarterback rolling to his weak side.
That's right. And then
having for a short gain, and then be able to square himself. He said to throw the ball with zip and accuracy.
That's right. And when it's such a little thing that you watch kids in high school, kids in college, they don't understand that power comes from the hips. And in order to get those around, in order to throw the ball, that's what you have to do.
Jim Harbaugh loves talking about a throw that Luck made in the game here last year. Get to that when we can here as they go hurry up again, and he goes for the big ball. He goes for Fleener just off his fingertips. Well, they said Fleener, the tight end out there. I mean, but of course, Fleener is a tight end who runs like a wide receiver, and you could run this kind of a route with him.
Absolutely, you can, because he's got height on your TV, and he's the 3rd fastest guy on the team. And now, I mean, you're talking about a 6'6", 255-pound receiver who can put his hand down and block the edge for you. It's ridiculous.
Harbaugh loves to tell a story of Luck rolling outside the left hash, squaring back and throwing the ball to the right sideline, 3/4 of the way across the field into the narrowest window possible and putting it right there. And those are the kind of throws that you know a guy's special. Oh, there's a special play for Colorado. Off the hands of Owusu, who has not been much of a factor yet in this game, and into the hands of Terrell Smith for the Colorado pick.
Yeah, Terrell Smith, we were told he's going to see a lot of time. You watch here, Luck comes back, he puts the ball right on the hands of the receiver, but they bounce off. Terrell Smith, very opportunistic, but great eyes on the ball. That's what you got to do. Tip drill. Ball's up, grab it. I'll tell you, Colorado's defense is showing up. They've stopped the power run game quite a bit. They've done a nice job of getting a hit or two on Andrew Luck, and now they come up with a big interception.
Stanford, in its first 4 games, had committed just 1 turnover. They've committed 2 now in the first half today. Rodney Stewart trying to get outside left. Good run support there from the Stanford secondary. Johnson Batamosi off the corner to disrupt that.
If you're Stanford right now, you're looking at Colorado and saying, all right, Tyler Hansen has to prove he can throw downfield and beat us. Because we know Rodney Stewart is a weapon. So we're going to come up, we're going to stop him and just see if Tyler Hansen can put a ball on point.
The offensive line coach for Colorado said this series they're going to go power and lead, and they're going to run it right to him. He said Stanford guys are not world beaters. They're human.
Hansen through the middle and right through the hands of Ryan Dean. Well, that feeds right in, doesn't it, guys? Exactly what they told. Again, John Embry kept emphasizing last night.
That's right. We have to take their shot and give them a shot right back and replay. Well, that logo doesn't beat our logo. We got to play.
This is the real test for Colorado. How do you take this momentum that you have on your side and really give it back to Stanford? And that's what they're going to have to show in this series. They're going to have to play tough football and execute their assignments.
Colorado needs 8. Stanford brings 4-5. And the delayed rush got him. They brought a delayed man. The last man in was A.J. Tarpley, an inside linebacker.
And what this is he realized Tarpley's on coverage on Stewart. And when Stewart blocks, Tarpley comes. That's what he's supposed to do, and he's the one that gets there.
Yep, Tarpley's the guy that made the play.
And Glenn, that actually happens to be a coverage sack. You look at the corners, they're really not giving Hansen any ability to really get out there and throw the ball. So that time, the defensive backs really helped out.
O'Neal will punt for Colorado, so the Buffaloes do not take advantage of the takeaway. Fair catch just shy of midfield, but a good start spot coming up for Stanford as Colorado has bounced back. Stay in this game in the second quarter.
Again.
Tyler Hansen has gone through a lot of Colorado. He's shared the job for a while with Cody Hawkins, who was the son of the coach at the time, Dan Hawkins. And now with a new staff, Hansen coming back and getting that year. It's always hard, isn't it, Glenn, for it? Because a new staff trying to think about building something for the longer picture when they know they have 1 year.
That's right. And seniors have to buy in this instance, because any allegiance you had to the old guy, you got to let that go, and you got to try to help the new kids.
All right, Andrew Luck starting now from the Stanford 47. Toss Gaffney. And Gaffney got outside, got some yards down to the Colorado 45. The Pac-12 this year, first time ever, split to divisions. Colorado is in the South. There you see the grouping. And with Arizona State's win today at Utah, Arizona State is right now way in the front to be in the first ever Pac-12 championship.
Absolutely.
Game.
USC not eligible to play in that game. Arizona State already beat them anyway. Arizona State, very good. Brock Osweiler, a real athletic, tall, good quarterback.
Stanford, of course, and Oregon. Washington would like to think they're going to be a part of the next two. Will be battling in the north for the spot. Out of the backfield, going out of the 40-yard line, and a first down there with Ryan Hewitt on the catch. Another tight end, but they use him as a fullback.
Yeah, you run fullback, and it's play action. Horse too hot Bronco, West Coast offense type stuff. Bring him out. He gets past the first defender, and then he's in the flat open for 3-4 yards before you know what's hit you.
Now check out Andrew Luck. He's lined up at wide receiver. Yes. Here's a new wrinkle.
All right, so they've done this before with Gaffney running the Wildcat. They'll use him running option as well. And Gaffney, boy, that's a great read himself. He took that and bounced it left and got all the way down to the 25.
Well, that was a play designed to go inside behind the block of Ryan Hewitt. Instead, he reads it, gets outside, and gets himself some yards.
And there's going to be a tack on there. They threw a flag, I believe, for a late hit. So 15 on the run, and it looks like more.
That's not a
After
good
the play
look
is over,
for Colorado.
late hit out of bounds, number 26 on the defense. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
In what way, Akbar?
Well, you talked about them being, just penalized, but on that run right there really happens to be that the defensive end, Hardigan, really showed no edge pressure, and Gaffney could just take the edge on him, and that's what happened. He just took the edge from him. When you have no edge present, the offense reads that, and they'll take it.
Well, there's another great formation. Gaffney gets it inside the 10. You talk about how hard it is to prepare for Stanford. And we get another flag flying in late. They're lining up two tight ends in the backfield to block for Gaffney.
Yeah, well, and what they're doing is running power back, so they use Hewitt as the kick out, or in this case, it was actually DeCastro, the guard kicked out, fullback up, Hewitt up through the hole. But they'll switch those assignments, power, back and forth.
Glenn, that power run, I remember it just as a defensive lineman.
After the play is over, late hit, number 73 on the offense, 15-yard penalty. It will be second down.
Young Cameron Fleming, the right tackle, he's a redshirt freshman, getting aggressive down there, getting a little bit over aggressive. You know what? You don't mind that of your lineman though. The holdings kill you, but those hits downfield a little late. At least he's downfield doing what he has to do.
Well, that replay didn't show very much. I'm not sure what he got called for.
Yeah, I don't know either. But Akbar, you talked about you hate that power. Is it because it's a misdirection? Is it because big guys are coming down on you?
Well, on the front side, you get the double team. That backside guard's pulling across, and there's just a lot going on. I mean, you have no defensive lineman wants to take on a double team, and then you want a guy like David DeCastro pulling on you, and you have to take him on. And they're doing an excellent job of moving the ball up the field.
Stephon Taylor back in the game, gets the screen. Well, boy, Colorado was there. Are they spying? Is that Monkey spying him?
This is man coverage. And when it's man coverage, your first man out, whether that's your guard or your tackle, has to take man coverage, meaning he has to get on the backer. If you miss him, you're going to get a loss. You take a look here. Watch the first man out. In this case, it's David DeCastro. The play comes from behind. It's hard because David DeCastro can't see that, obviously.
Patrick Mankey, nice job there of reading that, reacting, and making the tackle for Colorado. So it's a long third here for Stanford. I want to get at least into better field goal range. Luck throwing it. They get to the 1-yard line. Griff Whalen down at the 1.
This is when we say command of the offense. He's got pressure, but watch his eyes. He knows coming backside, he'll have Whalen.
First down.
Who was the knucklehead who thought 3rd and 25, they just try to get closer for the field goal? Who just said that?
I was right there with you, my friend.
You got to forget, you're dealing with a different level of player here.
Yeah, Andrew Luck is really putting on a clinic. He's showing how to use your feet to get yourself out of trouble, and found Galen right there. If he didn't have that efficiency with his feet, he wouldn't have been able to make that play.
I love that Akbar and Glenn, both of you guys talking about the footwork of the quarterback. Jeremy Stewart got in. He broke the plane. And Jeremy Stewart scores the Stanford touchdown, his 3rd of the year. So from 3rd and 25, Stanford escapes and punches it in.
And you see a lot of bodies getting leverage. Good second effort. That's the main thing. Get yourself over that end zone. Get yourself 7.
And Andrew Luck, 11 of 15 in this first half.
You know, we talk footwork, Ted, because across the board, this team feet are very much more like professional footwork, which you'd see in the NFL. It's that caliber of good footwork.
Versus.
So Stanford now up 20-7. It always fascinates me when you explain to people that that's the mascot of this education at this Institute of Higher Learning.
Yeah, that's a little tough, isn't it?
Stanford right now is, well, this season is absolutely shaping up to have a magnificent Pac-12 North battle in early November on this field. As Stewart is run out of bounds just shy of the 25-yard line, and we'll talk more about that potential battle next Saturday because we'll be tracking Stanford when they head to Washington State to play the reborn Cougars next Saturday, 7:30 East, 4:30 West, right here at college football on Versus.
Well, Colorado's got coming out now. They've got to figure out where their mismatches lie. Now they know Rodney Stewart can get things done. They got Tony Jones in there right now. Try to get him matched up with a tall, lanky, not so quick linebacker.
3 receivers for Hansen on his short drop, and then there's that slant up at Tyler McCullough, freshman receiver.
And I'll tell you, McCullough, when you run the slant, top of the screen, you can't let the DB cross your face. That's exactly what he does. He gets up, a little bit of an outside move, comes back under, gives his quarterback a nice big white target to throw that ball at.
And that's a foundation play in the West Coast.
Absolutely it is.
14 on that first down play. Nice gap, hole inside, and then quickly shut down by Delano Howell from the secondary. 3 yards on the run for Tony Jones.
I like the way, though, they went pass and run, try to keep this defense off balance. I didn't win first down. I only got 3, but if I can get 3 or 4 here, I can put pressure on that defense and that defensive line.
So under 6 minutes to go in the first half, Colorado would love here to convert this drive to points. They're being threatened in this first half of being pushed out of it. Quick slant middle, flag comes down. Umpire throwing the flag after the pass to Keenan Canty.
Yeah, he threw it right at big number 73 Ryan Miller, the big grinder, the big bell cow. Maybe he was grabbing somebody down in there. That's where he was looking.
Holding, number 76 on the offense. 10-yard penalty.
They got the center again, Gus Handler. Now here's the Pac-12 North. And all eyes obviously have been from day one on Stanford and Oregon, yet the Washingtons are both standing in there with zeros right now in the loss column.
I'll tell you, Steve Sarkisian, Paul Wolf putting together very nice seasons up in Washington right now.
Again, Stanford goes to Pullman next Saturday. We'll be there. It's homecoming, so it'll be always a little more raucous occasion on the Pullman campus. Swing to Stewart. And good play by Batamosi off the corner for Stanford. Stewart gets out for a short gain, 3-yard gain.
Yeah, I like the design. That's what you want, but you got to make somebody miss. Johnson Batamosi comes up and that's a great open field tackle. He misses, that's a first down.
You know, Glenn, on the offensive side, Tyler Hansen, has to take a shot down the field. That time he went to his check down, but he had his wide receivers wide open. Taking a look at downfield, that's going to allow them to really put pressure on Stanford.
Yeah, stretch this defense out a little bit.
For a screen, and Stewart looked like he had a great chance to get a first. He had a wall in front, could not catch it.
And again, they understand where pressure's coming from. Watch the pressure come from in here. That's right where the screen is going to. They bring extra pressure. That's Chase Thomas coming in. Look at that open field with 2 big blockers out in front of you. Make that play, get that first down. That's what's killing this Colorado team all year.
It's a great call, Glenn. That looked like it was well designed and looked like a first down. Punt by O'Neal. Terrell lets it hit. And Colorado down to just across the 20-yard line. All right, so Stanford up 20-7. They'll be coming out on offense every week. Versus goes deep into the NFL. From NFL Films, you'll see the turning points of the week. NFL Turning Point Thursday night at 10 Eastern, only on Versus.
Well, now's when a team loves, your offensive linemen love this. You know, you got 4 minutes to go. We can take over and run our offense for 4 straight minutes and get a score.
It's interesting. Stanford spreading it. Empty here for Luck. There's that quick smoke on the left flat, and Stephon Taylor drags Henderson, the Colorado DB, with him for a first down gain.
You talk about offensive line play. Big Jonathan Martin, the left tackle on this. When you're at your boundary side and you throw the wide receiver screen, he's got to get out there. Jonathan Martin, a great job of showing his speed, getting out and lead blocking on a screen.
Two big prospects on that line for Stanford. DeCastro that you talked about, and Martin, the left tackle.
Yeah, Jonathan Martin's a very, very good player. Only a junior is going to get another year to get himself better.
Luck again shifting. Back into the gun. Not going to step up and then get dragged down in a very short game. There, Josh Hardigan on the stop for Colorado, 2 yards.
Well, now here's the chess match. All right, Andrew Luck knows that this is a pressure down. It's second and long, and I'm between the 30s on the field. Every team loves that because I can bring pressure. But of course, if you're Derek Mason, the D coordinator, and you want to bring pressure, you know he knows that you want to do that. The chess match continues.
All right, here again, Luck goes out wide right. Tyler Gaffney takes the Wildcat snap. And Gaffney picks his hole. Boy, that's play. He's done that beautifully, twice.
And that's exactly what we're talking about. Again, Gaffney exploiting the edge defense of Colorado. You can see on the left side of the offense that there is no presence from Colorado on the end of the play. The defensive end has to get up inside of that offensive tackle and set a presence. You have to have gap responsibilities and outside contain.
Got to set that edge. That's exactly what Akbar's saying. Especially when you've got counter or power coming at you, you've got to set the edge, and your backers can't get caught in traffic. They've got to get tight to the hole and fit.
Gaffney by far the biggest runner today, 57 rushing yards on 6 carries. Oh, look at Fleener, wide open. Going to be ruled down at the 1. Not just the throw by Luck. That's obvious. The amazing ability of Stanford to get these receivers so open.
Well, again, it's mismatch. You know, let's face it, Kobe Fleener is a tight end. If you're going to play with linebackers to stop the run, you spread them out. You've got speed. He's the 3rd fastest guy in your team. You can beat him.
37 yards. Fleener down just shy of the goal line. They'll toss it to Gaffney, but whistles stop.
Prior to the snap, the prior play is being reviewed. The runner will rule down short of the goal line.
Now the referees ruled the runner down, not by contact, doesn't matter, just down shy of the goal line, but the replay booth, Bill Richardson, running the replay booth, wants to look at this.
Yeah, he has a little time to see. Well, the knee did hit with the ball short of the goal line. If you take a look, his right knee will go down right there.
Yeah.
And the ball's not over that goal line yet.
So they've got to mark that ball back even. By that replay, it would say they move the mark back a bit.
Well, yeah, we'll have to see. I don't know how much they'll move it.
Yeah.
But I think that's a good call by the officials on the field. And you know, this has happened in real time, not slow motion. They got a tough call. And a good job by Bill Richardson.
The runner was short of the goal line when his knee was down. The ruling on the field is confirmed.
Okay.
That's the way it should work.
You know, the other, Glenn, interesting thing going on in this first half here, we talked about balance. Akbar mentioned that in our open. Stanford 16 running plays, 17 passing plays, and look at Luck's numbers. Now, this has been a year where Luck, and you start getting into this Heisman stuff and all the publicity and marketing stuff that is, the Heisman's not about merit, it's about marketing.
That's true.
And numbers. And David Shaw, you know, he hasn't put up huge numbers this year.
But, you know, and I'll make this argument. He's the best player in college football. That's all that matters to me. I vote based on who I think the best player is, and he is.
Yeah. Well, personal opinion, that didn't matter 2 years ago. Toby Gerhart was the best player in college football and did not win the Heisman.
I'll agree with you there as well.
Yeah. an easy score. Ryan Hewitt flashing out to catch the touchdown pass. So Luck gets his first touchdown throw of this game and his 57th in his Stanford career.
Hewitt in motion, clear out underneath by Ertz. You've got two tight ends in there. One's helping the other get the score.
But of course, the Luck numbers, and the other reason you frame that is, you know, we're sitting around here earlier today watching, and you see Oklahoma and their phenomenal performance in Landry Jones, 300-plus yards in the first half.
Gaudy numbers out of a spread offense.
Well, Andrew Luck's over 200 now, and Stanford in command. Andrew Luck now 14 of 18 for 219 in the first half. Coming back to Stanford, of course, I mentioned he had only played 2 years. After finishing second in the Heisman Trophy race last year, there's a pretty illustrious list of players who had finished second in the Heisman and came back. Near the 25 for Colorado. Well, here they are. Just, you didn't think I was kidding you. Here they are.
Hey, take a look. How about Tom Harmon out of Michigan? He was a runner-up, came back, won it. Angelo Bertelli for Notre Dame. Glenn Davis from Army, one of those back in the day. O.J. Simpson was able to get it done. Of course, Herschel Walker. I believe he was the last. Herschel Walker. That's been a long time.
Now, through the years, things have changed. There was a long-running tradition there where the Heisman only went to seniors.
Yes, that's true.
That had to get broken first. Archie Griffin, I think, was the first to
believe so. Yeah, and then won it back-to-back, as a matter of fact.
Hansen in Colorado now trying to throw that slant to Clemens, incomplete. So Andrew Luck, the sixth player to come back, and you know there are multiple reasons Andrew Luck chose to come back to school. He will get his degree. He will get his degree in architectural design in the spring. He also he was recruited here with a group of very talented players that all chose to come here to play at Stanford when the program was still down.
That's right.
And he wanted to play again and take a shot at the big prize.
And that's what's the most. When I listen to everything else, it's the commitment to his recruiting class that strikes the chord with me.
Ooh, that one just got past Chase Thomas of Stanford, that pass, and it's caught by Colorado, caught by Logan Gray.
Now, Logan Gray was at Georgia, and he's now here. And I'll tell you what, Tyler Hansen, the offense in Colorado, speeding things up, and they're looking to go down the field just like Akbar said they needed to.
19 on the pass to Gray. Comes right back with a hit across midfield. Now Colorado trying to hurry up. Liam, Big Row, and Doug will be along with the Geico Halftime Report. All the look at the scores and highlights of the day, and a look ahead to Sunday Night Football on NBC. That's all coming up with our Geico Halftime Report. Again, the slant. Quick over the middle, Logan Gray. This is what John Embry talked about, knowing how thin their wide receiver position is. Their big guy down, Richardson. Logan guy's got to play.
And Logan Gray, he's a transfer from Georgia, but he can play any spot. He can play your Z, he can play your X, your zebra, he can do it all.
Hansen can't take a step. That was the one thing he couldn't take, and he did. Trying to escape straight ahead, but pinned in, and Chase Thomas again, part of the big Stanford defensive play.
That's their second charge timeout. This will be a 30-second charge timeout.
So Colorado still has one timeout to use, and they've got plenty of time. There's still a minute and a half.
They've got a timeout. They've got an opportunity here. If they can get anything here, remember, they're going to get the ball coming out because when they kicked off, it was the fluff, and they got the ball.
All right, so why does that thing about Andrew Luck with the recruiting class, why did that strike a chord?
Because too often after day, kids are about me. Kids are about my name on the back of the jersey, not the name on the front of the jersey. And the fact that he was that committed to guys that he gave his word to when they came in really strikes a chord to me as a kid that understands where his priorities are, understands what life is really about. And he's going to have that Stanford degree, which as I get older, I understand means so much more than anything else.
Long second here for Hansen in Colorado. Set it up inside to Clemens. And he is down to the 37, but still facing a long third here. Not even in field goal range. Hansen taking time here to set things up. They want to save the timeout if they get close enough to kick. They might be here. They're going to be just short of a first. So it's going to be an interesting call for John Embry. Dean, the tight end, got it to the 29. There's 4th and 2 here.
Well, they're going to attempt to get a first, I guess.
Now remember, Colorado is not they're not mile high here.
They're going to let it go, it appears.
Of course, Will Oliver, their kicker, freshman, kicked a 52-yarder, but again, Boulder, you're 5,000 feet. We're at 23 feet above sea level here. So distance is a factor, but Colorado has used that last time out here to set things up for what could be a 47, 48-yarder. Well, Andrew Luck, and we mentioned this is quarterback U. This is just a small sampling. These were, and Bobby Garrett, Jim Plunkett, who we believe is here today, and John Elway, that were #1 overall picks, and just a small sampling of a great array. John Brody, guys who played in the NFL, Guy Benjamin, Steve Dills, Turk Schoner.
You've got Senstrom, you got
Steve Stenstrom, Trent Edwards were more recent.
That's right. Exactly. You've got, you know what? It's funny that, they talk about apples and apple trees, right?
Yeah.
Well, you got to be smart to play quarterback. Well, why not go to a place where you got to be smart?
46 on this field goal try by Oliver. And he only had plenty of leg there, but he left it out wide. So the first half ends in Colorado. A couple of different occasions moved the ball. But twice they've been unable to convert field goals. In fact, they're -7 on their 2 field goal tries. And that tells part of this first half story. The other part right there, Andrew Luck throwing for 219 yards in the first half.
Well, if you're Colorado, there's things to be taken from this. I've made some plays. I've identified some weaknesses maybe against Stanford. And you know what? We're a possession or two from being right in this game. We've come up with a turnover. There's a lot of good for Colorado. They just got to capitalize on it now.
So it's a same run, same locker rooms that have been used forever here. A Super Bowl, in fact, was played on this very field in 1985. And it's even though the stadium now is new, the field is the same. This walk is the same. The locker rooms the same. And let's go down to that sideline now with Akbar.
Coach, a dominating first half. What are you going to say coming out for the second half in the locker room for your players?
It's not good enough. We gave them too many opportunities. We talk all the time about it's not who we play, but how we play. We didn't play up to our standard. We can play so much better. And we put some pressure on our guys to play to the level of their capabilities.
So what adjustments will you make in the second half then for your players?
Doggone, we had to catch the ball. We can't give up possessions on special teams. We can't give up screens for however long that screen was. We got to play a lot better. For this team to reach its capabilities, we got to play at a higher level.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Wow, so that did not sound like a coach with a 20-point halftime lead. That's what Stanford has from the Stanford Stadium.
Versus.
Stanford will kick to begin the second half. The Cardinal on the Buffaloes 27-7 as Stanford hopes to extend what has been the nation's longest winning streak. And Stanford has not lost a game since they lost to Oregon the first week of October last year in Eugene. Tony Clemens will down this for Colorado. And we'll take a look at the Foster's first half numbers.
I think when you look at these numbers, obviously it's the total yards that jump out at you, the rushing yards, but really first downs. 14 new sets of downs. That's what Stanford was able to give themselves.
Yeah.
And you know they only faced 3 third downs, so that means they were moving those chains pretty darn quick.
Now this is a Stanford team that game last year in Eugene, the last game Stanford lost, they were ahead at the half. And Oregon, as you saw Oregon do the other night to Cal, that's exactly what Oregon did last year to Stanford. That one half of football is what kept Stanford from playing for the national championship.
That's right.
Hansen with a quick throw, complete. Keenan Candy with the catch. And of course, now Stanford went on and had a decisive, they just hammered Virginia Tech in the Orange Bowl. They come back this year, and the Stanford-Oregon game is here on November 12th. And that's been the game that everybody, even nationally, has been focused on, that being the game of the year in the Pac-12.
And I think you need to focus on that with how good that last game was last year and the way those two teams are setting up the meeting this year. I think it's fair to focus on that game.
2nd and 5 from Colorado. Stewart running. Stewart has not been able to do anything on the ground. And there's Chase Thomas once again. And here's now, of course, we reference it's both schools. Both Stanford and Oregon have to get to November 12th, and that's the road ahead for Stanford.
And none of those are easy. Washington State up in Pullman's not an easy place to play. Washington's playing very well. USC is always loaded with talent. Oregon State, maybe they catch a break there, but then again, Oregon with that big battle. That's not an easy schedule.
Stanford gets Washington here, and of course everyone will focus on USC. That's a tradition game. Hansen misfires, and it'll be 4th down, and Colorado will punt.
And there's the problem for Colorado. They come out on 1st down, they get 5. They give themselves a chance. But then they get 0 on 2nd down, and now they're behind the chains, and it's easy and predictable for a Stanford defense. Colorado has to find a rhythm offensively, not just today, but going on.
Great point. So, example, it's 1 down out of each sequence.
That's right. It's
they
one
get the
down.
1st down play and the 2nd down play also.
That's right. And it's 1 assignment per series that's costing them yardage.
Right, O'Neal angles. Drew Terrell catching. Nice move. Gap. Alley and Terrell. Boy, once you make the first man miss returning that punt, you give yourself a chance. And Drew Terrell, the great advantage, runs it inside the Colorado 40.
And now you've just given a team who's already up on you by 20. Great field position and the ability to now dictate the situation to you. I like where John Embry is taking this program for Colorado. He's just outmatched right now.
Yeah.
And he's got to have some guys step up and try to make a play for him.
30-yard punt return by Terrell, setting up Luck and Stanford. Out of the eye, Stephon Taylor, the deep back. Quick out of the play-action boot. Zach Ertz gets upended by Ray Polk, but it's a 1st down. And with the short field, you really are just, it's poisonous if you're give Stanford with Andrew Luck this short a field to work.
Hey, this is easy. Now, I want you to watch right here. You pull, but you bring motion back across, and that's where the ball is. If you've been seeing this power all day, look at the linebackers scream over the top. Leaves a huge void outside. No contain, no set of the edge.
3 catches now for Ertz for 67. Look at this power eye. Ertz now slides out. Still line up and run it with Taylor. That's one thing, Colorado. You talked early, Glenn, that Colorado's defense has come. That's one thing they've done. They've stopped Stephon Taylor.
And because the West Coast offense, you run a lot of power and counter. Colorado's running the West Coast offense. They're used to seeing this in practice. They know what they're looking for the most part. So they know they have to defeat the double team. When a man pulls, they have to attack the void. And they have to hit the right shoulder of the guy pulling. You can tell they're well coached in this.
7 carries for Taylor, just 11 yards. Stanford's leading rusher on the year. Gordon Luck's quick hot throw to Gaffney in the right flat, broken up. Hardigan, who is the pass rush player for Colorado, 4 sacks already this year, 7 last.
And he'll be at the bottom of your screen right here. Number 17 does a good job of understanding no one's blocking me. I have to stop and fill space. Get my hands up.
So now Stanford pushed the 3rd and 9. With some 3 receivers left. Chris Owusu, their Best wideout threat is out very wide to the top.
They've got a real mismatch with the tight end.
They're going to get it to Owusu. Let him go one-on-one. And Owusu's tackled just short of the first. So Owusu made a quick move in, but Colorado was able to finish it.
And Owusu is a dynamic player for them. Because all the ball usually goes to tight end, he doesn't get as much play, doesn't get the press that he maybe deserves, but he's a big-time player for them.
Nice play there by Paul Henderson. So Stanford lines up to go on 4th down. A long one. Just outside the 12. A huge power formation. And Taylor broke a hit. And Taylor got the first. Henderson knifed into the backfield for Colorado. Slowed him.
And where this starts is your right guard, David DeCastro, on the pull. It's called a log block. See, as he comes around, guy on his inside shoulder. The fullback actually misread it and went inside, but luckily enough, running back understood where he had to get to.
You actually saw linebacker Derek Webb was in there quick, and he had the first shot at the shoe tops of Taylor. The 2 misses by Colorado. Taylor gets the first down for Stanford. First and goal to the left. Easy. Just easy. For the Stanford touchdown, luck to Ryan Hewitt. The design of these plays, Glenn, is just magnificent, isn't it?
Well, what it is everything builds off of the play before it. They're very good at putting into practice the way that they design plays.
The play is under further review. The rolling on the field was a touchdown.
So they run a formation at you, and it's not just to run a formation. It's to see what you do and to have you bite on the next time. Now, just take a look. Flow is away. Everybody bites except the fullback Hewitt comes back out of the backside on the naked. No one there for him.
All right, you heard Michael Batlin and his announcement that Bill Richardson wants to review this. They want to see if that perhaps it's where Hewitt's foot skidded at the 2-yard line. Did it skid into the white?
They want to make sure the ball is over the pylon before his feet are out of bounds or being held down.
If it stands, it'll be the second touchdown catch for Hewitt. And would extend Stanford's lead. Reference once again, we had a chance to visit with Terry McCauley, NFL referee and head of officials for the Big East Conference before the season. He was telling us that one of the big things he's really hoping is that you can get a situation on the field here.
After further review, the rolling on the field is confirmed. Touchdown.
Where Michael Batlin and any referee would have a monitor that they can look at on the field.
Yes.
As it is in the NFL.
That's right. And just more convenient, easier for them to do it.
And allow the referees to get a look as the replay official does upstairs. They look at it together. Anyway, call stands and Jordan Williamson out for the point for Stanford. It'll be the second touchdown pass of the game for Luck, both of them to Hewitt. Luck moving up behind greats like Elway on all the Stanford passing lists. In just 2.5 years. That's all he's played on this campus. Home to so many great athletes across the board, so many great intellects in that Hoover Tower. Well, Stanford taking command of this game with this touchdown early 3rd quarter. Monday, the NHL on Versus continues. Season underway in 2 of the stalwarts. Steven Stamkos and the Lightning. Alex Ovechkin and the Capitals. That'll be Monday night. Then on Wednesday, the Stanley Cup champion Bruins and the Hurricanes. Hockey is back right here on Versus.
Well, I'll tell you, this is a fun offense to watch, isn't it? Fun program to watch because they take kids that are just tough, hard-nosed guys, put them in the right position.
And David Shaw was very candid with us talking yesterday because, I mean, look, anybody that's been around Stanford, as I have been for a few years, will tell you that wasn't always the case here. And what Jim Harbaugh did And David Shaw first worked with Jim Harbaugh at University of San Diego, came back to his alma mater, David's alma mater, with Jim Harbaugh, now as the head coach. But he admits Jim Harbaugh changed the type of kids we're going to recruit here. We're going to recruit tough kids.
You know, up until maybe the late 80s, Stanford was a tough place. They had a lot of players. For most of the 90s and 2000 until Harbaugh got here, they were kind of seen as soft, intellectual kids who couldn't play football.
So he fielded at the 2-yard line by Rodney Stewart. He's out just shy of the 25.
You know, along with what we're talking about is getting tight ends. Guys who put their hand in the dirt and make plays for you down the field. Toilolo here, 6'8", big guy, mismatched for anybody, right up the seam. Andrew Luck understands too deep. That's where I'm going with it. Now you take a look at Zach Ertz, split him out. He's now on the hash, and all he does is get outside release, but then gain ground back to the seam to sit down for this ball. Again, great throw by Luck, knowing where the window is. Kobe Fleener, third fastest guy on the field. Now he's on the seam towards the field. He runs the same pattern, outside release, up the seam, touchdown. That's a lot of good tight ends on the field at one time.
Tony Jones and Matt Masafilo off the D-line just hammered him to the ground after a 1-yard gain. And they had last year Conrad Ruland was here as part of that group when Toilolo was out with an injury.
Yeah, and you just take a look at the numbers, even across the board, yards across the board. They're all each guy has a role, and they're interchangeable in many ways, and they put so much pressure on the defense to identify where they are, identify who's on the field, in what position, in what formation.
And what they do is, we've referenced, when they create what every offense wants, they create awkward matchups for defenses.
And indecision, which slows down a defense.
Hansen pressured. Got it off over the middle. That'll be a first down. So Hansen, with the heat bearing down on him, stood in there and delivered the ball to Clemens for a Colorado first.
What a great strike by Hansen. You know, he understands he's got to make plays too and step up, the senior. He's taking it right in the face, and what's he do? He delivers the ball, can't step through it, but still has enough arm strength to put it where it has to be into that small window.
Gained 11 and a Colorado first. Hansen is now thrown for 202.
You know, Coach Embry just said, remember, we gotta be assignment sound, we gotta win, and then we gotta win competitively. He knows it's not a quick process rebuilding this team.
Short gain for Tony Jones, but again, to frame for Colorado, they had just an utter heartbreak loss last Saturday. John Embry went off, and he just was frustrated and emotional and saying, we gotta get sick and tired of this. Then you come in the middle of the week, you have to suspend 5 kids. You lose your best playmaking receiver to an injury. He's going to be out for a couple of weeks. It's a tough program right now.
I can only imagine if you're a coach and you're in that position, you're trying to rebuild. Remember, you're judged on wins and losses, and you just keep taking the hits.
Tipped out of bounds by Devin Carrington, the Stanford secondary. We look at what else happened in the Pac-12 today. And again, if you're just flipping us on or joining us, that's a big, big win for Arizona State in the first year ever of division play, the first ever Pac-12 championship upcoming. Arizona State right now is strongly in command to win the South Division spot.
That they are, and get a chance at the championship game against most likely Stanford or Oregon and against the North. And pretty exciting times if you're down in Tempe and you're a Sun Devil fan. And it pains me to say that, you know.
Shotgun here on third. Oh, he's got a man up the middle. Oh, and a drop. Well, that's too bad. Hansen put it there, and Logan Gray could not secure it.
Again, this is what we talk about. It's just one play here and there. You've got a great strike by Hansen here. It goes right to Logan Gray. He takes his eye off for a split second to look at the safety coming at him, and the ball hits him in the hands and he drops it. Those are what kill you as a coach trying to build a program.
And Glenn, you're absolutely right. Logan Gray had the ball at the top of the throw, and you're looking back to see if somebody else is getting ready to hit you. You can't do that as a wide receiver. You got to come down with the ball and make the play.
Yeah, he's got to know, I'm going to get hit anyway. Just make the catch.
O'Neal again angles one right. Fair catch. Otero let it get out of the way, but it did hit a Stanford man, and then it goes out of bounds. That ball may well have hit a Stanford man, which made it live, but Colorado could not secure the ball before it went out of bounds. So possession will be to Stanford. Pinned back inside its 20-yard line. 2:52 throwing for Luck, and an easy lead for Stanford.
Wash.
Now Stanford Stadium just about filled up. Those beautiful stadium seats right around 50,000. Perfect size for this market, this fan base, and you see that both quarterbacks now over 200 yards for the night.
Yeah, and when you just look at that comparison, it's not one-sided, but it's what is around each of those quarterbacks at this point that makes it so one-sided. The fact that Andrew Luck has total command of an offense and understands exactly what to get into and get out of.
Frustration for Hansen, obviously, as he thought they had a big first down play. Now, if you're Stanford, do you really just try to ground and pound here?
Yeah, I turn it over to my offensive line and say, let's see what we can do on the ground. And of course, that's not what they did.
Luck avoided. Now there's another sign of his level of play. Ooh, and the linesman gets wiped out. Let's hope he's all right. But Luck avoided and it looks like the official's fine as Luck avoided a sack and had a nice gainer.
I talked to John Elway on the sideline. He said what's most impressive about Andrew Luck is how he handles the throw under duress. He can really sling the ball, and he gets the ball out of his hand very quickly under pressure.
Now, Akbar, I'll tell you what, I broke down film for about 3 games with him from last season, and that's exactly what I saw. No matter where he was on the field or body position, the ball had zip coming out of his hand. It was impressive to watch, and he's even better this year than he was last.
And in contrast, most quarterbacks, when they're under duress, a lot of them put a lot of loft under the ball, so that way it's floating in the air. He doesn't do that. He stays calm when he's under pressure.
18 of 23 throwing for Luck. His completion percentage for the last year and a half has been over 70%. And look at that gash. Taylor all the way out across the 40.
Hey, I don't always have to pull David DeCastro. I can pull David Yankee. David Yankee, left guard. Unbelievable block here. You get it pulling. Take a look at number 54. David Yankee comes through. Bam! Blows that thing open. When you've got a gap that wide, running backs, their eyes get real big. They know they're going to get 10 without getting hit.
But Glenn, also Stephon Taylor really hit that hole hard and fast. I mean, his acceleration was incredible from down here on the field.
Akbar, let's give credit to the offensive line, not the running backs.
This time out of the empty, a quick screen to Taylor, and he's dropped in his tracks for a gain of 1.
Now here's where we talk about your clock. All right, now we're behind the clock. See, we got beat on first down. This is where this offense, in particular the trust they have in Andrew Luck, comes into play.
And I like this scene right there. Now instead of Stanford ran to the line to play hurry up, and they got called back and said, wait a minute, we don't need to hurry.
That's right. It's second and long. This is usually a pressure down from defense. That's what they're expecting. Now in this formation, they usually run outside zone. Look for something off that.
3 tight ends right, all of them to the right, and so you run left to the left of center with Taylor, and he crosses midfield.
Well, I'll tell you, the thing about Andrew Luck, when I look at him, here's what I see. The pre-snap evaluation of the defense, he understands exactly where the safeties are and what they're trying to do to him. That arm strength allows him, if there's pressure or if he's on the rollout, to square his shoulders and hips and make that throw. And then the fact that he understands where the openings in the defense are, he's not locked on one receiver. He can get it out to anybody. Really, really impressive with this guy. And then, you know what, he's selfless. He's just a selfless guy. He's not looking for the stats, he's looking for the wins.
Out to Hewitt again, so they're letting Hewitt fly, and there's a late flag at the end of the play. As Hewitt catches his 4th ball coming out of the backfield.
Now that came in from way back, and I think what they're going to get, they're going to get Tyler Mabry for going downfield and getting an extra shot in, I think.
After the play is over, dead ball, personal foul, number 11 on the offense. 15-yard penalty, 1st and 10.
Good eye, Akbar. That's why you're down there, man. I thought that was going right at Mabry. And here's Toilolo. This is a point of emphasis. Man not involved in the play. Ball's down, coming in and taking that shot.
coaches have to like that out of their tight ends, because when you think tight ends, especially, you know this, Glenn, offensively, they're really a poor man's version of an offensive lineman. So you want to see your tight ends get physical. You just don't want to see it get you a penalty, of course, on a play like that.
Well, and especially, Akbar, a guy like Levine Toilolo, 6'8", 262. Most impressive, you look at the bend. Look at the bend on that. That's a 6'8" guy down in the three-point and low.
See, I think we need to go back and hear from Big Rowe sometime in our studio. Big Rowe, of course, was a tight end in the Mike Martz offense. And Big Rowe's got to be just salivating at what he could have done playing in this kind of offense.
He was a poor man's tight end. His offensive line's poor man's.
And I played with Roland in Oakland with my rookie season, and he was a heck of a tight end. But I tell you, he would be salivating to be in this offense, because this is an offensive-friendly, tight end-friendly offense.
Exactly, Akbar. All right, so Stanford with a first down now inside the Colorado 40. And again, that heavy set up to the right. 3 tight ends there on the right side of the formation. And this time they run behind him, and Taylor runs it for 9.
I see on film we talked that they usually like to run the outside zone from that. And I said the last time they'll probably do something off it, which they did. Well, here they come back to the outside zone. Look at the blocking. Kobe Fleener leading, getting that edge. When he can set the edge, that allows the running back, in this case, Stephon Taylor, to get outside, scratch off the hip, and get yourself 6, 7, 8, 9 yards.
Hey, Glenn, what's different about this outfit than the common offense is a lot of them use shoot screens to get to that outside edge. Well, Stanford can use that Trey look to get onto the outside.
That's right.
Helmet of Rippey, the linebacker for Colorado, flies off as Jeff Mencken in the game, and he carries for a Stanford first.
And he's fired up. He got the ball, which fullbacks don't get a lot, lowers his shoulder and runs right through Rippey. Watch the collision. I'll tell you what, that's a fullback's dream right there.
I mean, here's a guy coming off the bench at 255 to come in. I mean, the size that Stanford has developed over the last couple of years is notable.
And right now, Rippey's asking someone to answer the phone.
First down at the 27 of Colorado. Reverse handoff. That's Corey Gatewood, who's a senior who was once upon a time a defensive back here that winds up getting stopped for a loss. Don't forget, Thursday nights on Versus, you go inside the locker room and on the field as NFL Films tells you which turning points altered the week's most important games. NFL Turning Point, Thursday nights on Versus.
If you're John Embry, you know what you like? You just had a true freshman corner stay at home on a reverse and make a big play for you. Greg Henderson out of Corona, California. Really nice job. You got to like where you're at there.
Second down gun there. They set up Owusu with a lot of room. Now that was, again, well designed by Stanford. Owusu with just all kinds of room to take it inside the 10.
And you know, well designed, but take a look at Zach Ertz at the bottom. That's another tight end, real wide. Now you got a tight end blocking for you out there. That's good for 6, 8, 9 more yards. And Owusu, very dynamic behind him.
Blocking a corner. He's blocking a cornerback.
Yeah, that's a mismatch.
Glenn, that's been the trend for Stanford, is exploiting that outside edge of Colorado. The outside edge for Colorado has been weak all game, and they're just taking advantage of it.
All right, now Luck shifting out of that pistol set. Empty. And Luck throws it quick to Owusu again. He's driven out at the 2. Luck is now over 300 yards for the day and night, but the completion percentage, once again, just is jolting. He is 23 for 28.
Well, and you know, a lot of people say, well, a lot of controlled throws, but in reality, he's gone down the field really well. There's not much to his game that people don't talk about for a reason.
Well, no matter what kind of throws there are, that means you're just not missing any plays.
You're putting them on point. Perfect.
Gaffney, and he's cut down short. Colorado stands up. You see Patrick Mankey's been involved in a couple of big plays. He's down there at the bottom.
Yeah, Rippey comes in, big time, gets a hit. You know, this is a point of pride if you're Colorado. You know, your coach is asking you, number one, let's be competitive. Number two, we got to win and then win consistently. Well, this is the start. Let's be competitive and get this win right here on this play. One play at a time.
Dusk here in Stanford, California. Third down from the 1. Gaffney again. Instead, throwing up for Toilolo. Trying to get the 6'8". Got to use a wingspan. But Henderson, that freshman again, Glenn fought.
Yeah, and you know, he's given up 9 inches to Toilolo here. He's 5'11", and he's a true freshman, and he does a good job of staying right up in Toilolo's grill. He doesn't flinch when the ball's coming. He's staying close. It's a very good job by the true freshman, Greg Henderson.
Well, Glenn, I wouldn't say that he was in his grill. He's 6'8". He's probably more or less in his stomach or chest.
14th play of the drive, 4th and goal. And Gaffney will stretch to the right for the Stanford touchdown.
Well, back to that edge we talk about. Big Fleming, Ertz, Hewitt. That's a lot of beef blocking out there. Gaffney easy in behind him.
Now Stanford on that long 14-play, 84-yard drive did a little more of the ground and pound. And Andrew Luck, the architect of the offense, also poised to receive his Stanford degree in architectural design.
Car insurance.
Yeah, the question now on the Stanford side certainly will be at what point is Andrew Luck and even the first line offensive team done for the night at 41-7.
They've had a couple of backups in on the offensive line at this point. I think as much as you like your quarterback to be in that rhythm and stay in that game, you gotta maybe pull back a little and say, guys, let's get some other guys in now.
Well, still a night for Luck. To this point, Stanford 54 plays, 25 run, 29 pass. A little different than, just a slight bit different than their prior.
That's true. And you know, averaging almost 5 yards a carry, though, running the ball. They're averaging 8 yards a play. That's efficient football.
Jordan Williamson again to kick this ball. John Embry doesn't have a lot of extra people on this sideline to try to make many changes, even if he wanted to. Rodney Stewart will run this back, and he got a little alley up the left side, is spun out of bounds by the kicker, just shy of the 40-yard line. Well, we told you Andrew Luck to get his degree in architectural design. His favorite architect, the legendary Frank Lloyd Wright.
Facade of the Guggenheim, I think it fits very nicely within New York, you know, sort of inverted pyramid. The most famous part of the Guggenheim where, you know, you can see everybody walking around. It's a big journey up and then down. You see the exhibits, but you also see the people walking around looking at the exhibits. So I think that's its endearing feature. I see the people being seen as well as the skylights, so it all fits together very nicely.
I just saw a building.
One of Frank Lloyd Wright's greatest works, the Guggenheim Museum on Central Park East on 5th Avenue in Manhattan, and that's what Andrew Luck was talking about. You know, when you're around a university, and there are others in the country that have the same great combination of academics and athletics, when you're around a school like Stanford, and you get to hear people like that speak, you just shake your head. You go, we're okay.
Yeah,
we're okay.
We're doing fine.
Of course, Stanford University has won like 500 consecutive Directors' Cups as the awarded to the outstanding overall athletic program in the NCAA. As Hanson's going to try to roll. Nice move. Oh, that's a good open field. 2 of them by Hanson. Well, he made himself a name there. He put on an open field move to get by Alex Debniak, a linebacker, and turned a modest play into a 25-yarder.
And that a lot of that right there is why Coach Bieniemy said we'd love to have another year with this kid. obviously a fighter, but a brand new offense comes to him, and he has gotten it down. He's taking control. Really impressive.
Colorado set up now at the Stanford 37 in the final minute of the third quarter. And Stewart busting it through. Stewart had the big pass play, but has not done anything on the ground. It's his best gain of the night.
Well, you talk about power. Colorado runs it well, too, and they brought it this time. Pull your guards. Let Rodney Stewart get lost in the shuffle a little bit, and he was one shoestring tackle from being gone on that play.
Well, Stewart doubled his night's total on that run. 8 yards on the gain, 2nd and 2. Colorado, knowing that things aren't going to get a whole lot more fun for them, they go to play at Washington next week, and then finally get back to Boulder and only gets Oregon.
Yeah, it's going to be, and then after that they got to go to Tempe and play Arizona State. So it doesn't. You're right. It doesn't get a lot easier for them, does it?
The good thing John Embry and his staff know, though, and is a big part of Colorado and Utah coming into the Pac-12 was being into that Southern Division, so that they will play against the Los Angeles schools every year.
That's right. And the ability to showcase themselves to the Southern California talent.
And Stewart runs to get a first down. Looks like he got it. Looks like he got just enough inside the 27-yard line on the final play of the third quarter. A third quarter that was owned by Stanford. Much more offense. 2 drives down the field. 2 scores to cement a very comfortable lead. About a mile from Stanford Stadium is one of the signature Apple stores in downtown Palo Alto. And this is the scene this week after the passing of Steve Jobs, who lived himself just about 2 miles from this stadium in Palo Alto. The incredible impact felt obviously in this area and felt around the world. And fascinating that Steve Jobs' impact will be such that even though he did not really know much about sports, wasn't a big sports fan, it will be felt even in this great sport. Tyler Hansen. And that throws one up for grabs. And it's grabbed by Michael Thomas. And Stanford denies Colorado. Tyler Hansen, that is only the 3rd pick he's thrown this year.
And we talk ill-advised. He gets away from pressure, obviously. He rolls out to right, and he knows he has his tight end, Ryan Dean, down in the end zone. That's where he tries to go, but he just doesn't have the arm strength from running to his right to throw it that far.
And Glenn, that's exactly right. Remember what we were talking about earlier when we were comparing Andrew Luck throwing under pressure. What does the ball look like under pressure? Well, Tyler Hansen had a lot of air and loft under that ball, and that's why at that time he was able to get intercepted by Michael Thomas.
And so Stanford has Luck back on the field on first down from the 30-yard line. They'll run it with Taylor. Steve Jobs had very close friends who were heavily involved in football, and they will say he was a husband, a father, and a friend. He was not really a sports fan, yet one of his great innovations, the iPad. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are here in the Bay. They're playing tomorrow just north of here at Candlestick Park. They this year became the first team to fully eliminate playbooks. They put their entire playbook on an iPad and gave each player on their team an iPad rather than a printed book. Other teams are following suit. So it's astounding that the incredible technological advances created by Steve Jobs and many others brilliant in this area even impact football.
And in our job as we move around the conferences, some conferences have gone to giving out iPads in the press box for use in the press box to keep up on stats and whatnot. It's an amazing device.
And it's also changed the way we've called the game, even for me here on the sideline.
You're holding one, right?
I'm holding my Apple iPad, and it allows me, instead of carrying a bunch of notes, I can carry everything right here.
Luck on a 3-stepper, and that ball was tipped. That ball tipped on its way towards Owusu. And there's proof, Akbar.
Hey, I mean, this is, I know exactly what personnel grouping is coming in. I can zoom in, zoom out. It's an excellent device.
One of Steve Jobs' closest friends was a great college football named Bill Campbell, who was a longtime coach at Columbia, and his name honors the academic Heisman Trophy. It's called the William Campbell Trophy. Given to the outstanding academic college football player each year. And there's a first down run for Stanford across midfield. And on that carry is Anthony Wilkerson.
And this is where, if you're an offensive lineman, you've been told, we're just going to grind it out now. This is where we put yards up, and this is where we start to dominate. And Coach Pep Hamilton said, we want it to be a brawl. We want you to get tired of it.
Stanford still has some first-teamers out there. You saw the first center, Sam Schwartzstein, snapping the ball. Here's a late flag at the end of that running play. Hewitt's caught 2 touchdown passes tonight.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 55, hitting a player out of the play. 15-yard penalty, Maine's first down, or second down.
Second time a Stanford player here in the second half's been flagged for that.
Yeah, they're cracking down on what we used to call a ticket taker. When you come flying up, the play is moving forward and someone's standing there watching it. Well, if you're gonna watch the show, I'm gonna take your ticket. And they're
like that. That's a new one, Glenn Parker.
They're cracking down on those because they realize a guy who's watching the play isn't prepared to take a hit. It's dangerous.
There's beautiful end zone view of this stadium. So much history in this stadium, even though this structure is only in its 6th season. This field been around a long time, and in fact Steve Jobs gave a commencement speech here. The one and most prominent time he ever spoke about his fight with cancer was on this field. Those archways are one of the few remnants left from the original stadium, which was demolished, and this new structure built on this site in 42 weeks. That's right, 42 weeks. One of the greatest building achievements, construction achievements you would ever see.
Absolutely. Get it done in time for the next season.
The field is exactly the same. I mentioned the locker rooms are the same as when they played a Super Bowl here 26 years ago. Here's Corey Gatewood catching one over the middle, and he's down to the Colorado 30.
That is a function.
You can see the reaction there, because this guy's a 5th-year guy. He got moved the other way. He's been moved from D to offense.
And this is a function of Andrew Luck. If you've watched, he was looking down at the safeties, and he knew he had to give Gatewood time to get into that backside window. As you say, excitement. Look at the reaction. That's fantastic.
You can see what kind of respect he's got as a 5th-year player on this team. And you can see how happy Luck was to get him on the stat sheet. Hand off there to Gaffney for no gain, perhaps a yard. Andrew Luck, a young man in Houston, Texas, watching a game 4 years ago that made Stanford football again. And you saw it right here on Versus, the memorable game in which Stanford stunned USC with a last-second touchdown at the Coliseum. Again on the slant. Oh, 2 great moves, and Griff Whalen turns that into a touchdown. The pattern, the throw, and Whalen punctuates with 2 terrific moves.
Well, up top, this is a post route, and it's actually out of the screen, and there it comes. Just knowing where the safeties are, knowing where the route's going, great protection up front, and then a guy does something with it after the catch. And you know, the thing is, the reason so many receivers here do well after the catch is the ball hits them on stride, in space, where they can do something.
But Glenn, also Glenn, Griff Whalen really put on a clinic, and he showed them exactly how to make yards after catch.
You're absolutely right. Right here, 1 good move, 2 good moves. putting the exclamation point on this one.
Sure.
Now Stanford obviously broken this wide open at 48-7. They've scored all 21 points in the second half as we see where Stanford stands in our Lowe's building towards the BCS. Alabama has just finished off a win over Vanderbilt. Of course, you know, the world of college football is such, depending on what poll you look at, whether it's the SIDs or the media or whichever. We haven't had a Harris poll yet. That's coming up. Stanford is 7th, 4th, whatever. Well, they've dropped a little bit despite being undefeated. That got people grumbling around here this week.
And they should, because that's a product of your schedule. You didn't play a good enough team. They're a great team. They'll be fine as this year moves along.
Well, it's somewhat laughable because given where Stanford football has been in recent years, just to be in the top 10, if you win your games, you'll be fine.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know how you win it is keeping that power football game going, getting after people, putting tight ends in a position to win. I mean, look what they do. 3 tight ends down here. You get good edge blocking, set the edge, let your running back tent stake his leg, go north. That's big time. And then, hey, this is Ryan Hewitt. He's a tight end, but he's a fullback. Good edge set again with the tight end and the tackle. Ryan Hewitt leads the way. Another score. They like to put people in a position to bang and bruise.
Tyler Hansen, you see David Shaw talking to parts of his team there. Well, the offense collecting around David Shaw, who last year split the play calling duties.
If you're a coach, this is the perfect game for you because you've won handedly, but yet you've got coaching points. You can talk about your turnover. You can talk about the special teams where you gave up the ball. It's the perfect game for a coach because you win easily, but you got lots of things to coach the next week.
Hansen off the play fake throwing that slant off the hands of Clemens, but a flag comes flying in.
We're going to have a 10 yards and automatic
Pass
first down
interference
here.
on the defense, number 27. Ball be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
So the penalty gets Colorado a first down as we take a look back to this memorable game. The first year as Jim Harbaugh had taken over the Stanford program. And Tavita Pritchard to Mark Bradford in the closing seconds. To stun USC. And it was a signature win in every way for the Stanford program. And our producer, Michael Molinari, dug this up. 50 games. Can you believe 50 games since? And look what Stanford has done.
And what a graphic. You know, talk about your turning point, your tipping point here. Before that, look at that record. And then you win that game. That's what one game can do for a program. Yes, it's not just that game. It's building towards that game. But it's what can happen when you start to believe that you can win. Absolutely. When you start to understand that what you do every day on practice fields and in meeting rooms contributes to Saturday on the field.
Hansen throws incomplete. And how significant that game was, even this measure, as recently as last Sunday. San Francisco 49ers beat the Philadelphia Eagles. And immediately after the game, Jim Harbaugh was congratulated on a terrific win. And his first word was, reminded me of USC. 07. And I'd forgotten the score was the same. It was 24-23, but it was a credibility win for the Stanford program at that time, which obviously translates to what Jim Harbaugh hopes it was for San Francisco.
That's right. Drawing a parallel between his programs.
Hansen trying to get out. Hansen escapes and he's out. And boy, he looked like he had that line at the 42 in his vision, but he ran into a red wall at the 40-yard line.
And you know, it's just closing in on him now. If you're an offensive lineman for Colorado, it's a tough time because pressure's coming. The wide receiver's got to help him here. He scrambles, you got to come back. You got to get there. Offensive line for Colorado's got to step up. I know it's hard because, listen, you're way in the hole. They know you're throwing, but so what? Do your job. Buckle down a little bit.
So 4th down, Colorado needs 2, but flags stop the play.
The right tackle bumped just a little bit. Ryan Danowitz tried to get out a little early.
False start. Number 53 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Maine's 4th down.
And now it's going to change John Embry's decision at penalty.
Yeah, and it's the little things. Now for a Buff fan, they might go, well, you know, we're down 48-7.
Boy, but that's what, Glenn, that there's a perfect picture of just what you were talking about. It's 48-7, but it's the little mistake.
It's the little ones.
He knows more than anybody they need to stop.
That's right, because let's get that first down and we'll build from there.
And Colorado, we mentioned how much they've been penalized this year, and they've been really hurt by second half penalties. That one had no bearing on the game. Andrew Luck about ready to literally. Stanford suffered its most significant injury of the year at Arizona several weeks ago. There's number 11. He is their defensive leader. Inside linebacker Shane Scove's season-ending injury. But on the sideline tonight to watch and root on his team. And let's join Akbar.
Shane, you're a preseason All-American. Obviously, this injury was tough for you. What have you done to stay connected with the team?
We've got some really talented young guys on this defense, so just going through film, giving them little tips and pointers so that when they come out here, they can take those little things and execute it on the field.
Now, you told me earlier this week, you said that you actually have Tarpley and Lancaster come to your house, watch film, break it down. What have you seen out of them so far?
Just that they've got tons of talent. They're young kids, and it's fun to see them play out there, man. They make plays. They've got great instincts, so, anything I can share with them in my free time so they can come out here and perform.
Yeah, and you're watching them perform. What is that? What is the emotion that you feel on the sideline?
It's tough being on the sidelines because you're used to being out there. But I'm proud of those guys. You still get the butterflies for the game, but I'm just proud to see every play they make. Just trying to teach them because now, I try and just live off them because they're out there. So anything I can do to help them execute.
Shane, good luck in your rehab. Thank you.
All right, Akbar. Brett Nottingham has taken over as the quarterback for Stanford. 3rd time that he's played in a game. He is the 2nd year in the program, 1st year playing. He's a Northern California Bay Area product. And David Shaw was telling us about Brett Nottingham from the East Bay here in the Bay Area. That very strong arm, and as you would expect, just doesn't have the command yet of the offense.
There's a lot more to it than taking the snap and looking for an open receiver, and he's got to get all the little things down and learn from Andrew Luck.
Completed one pass for 22 yards to Jamal Rashad Patterson. Handoffs here, and Stanford crosses midfield. Andrew Luck finishing tonight 370 passing yards, and interestingly, that is the 2nd highest yardage total in a game in Andrew Luck's career. Once as a first-year player, 2nd year in the program, Luck went over 400 yards. And that's, again, part of the Stanford theme. They've been so strong, and last year so strong running the ball, that they haven't had to just spread the field, let Andrew Luck sling it all over the place.
And I think the product of his command of the offense now is that he can get out of a running play that would generate 1 or 2 yards and get to a passing play for 10 or 15. And that's why his yardage totals maybe a little higher in this game, maybe a little higher as we move forward, because he's got that command we talk about.
There's our Buffalo Wild Wings game reset. You see Luck's numbers, just 7 incompletions. Tight ends, actually, technically the tight ends won't get credit for any touchdowns. Hewitt is a tight end, but
that's true.
Line him up as a fullback. That doesn't matter tonight. Stanford has done what a good team's supposed to do. They had an opponent that they outmanned them, and after the interesting first few minutes where Colorado had a chance to take the lead, it's been all Stanford tonight. And they will just miss downing that punt. Stanford player Jordan Richards got down the field, but he toppled over backwards. He fell in the end zone and could not down it. How about that nighttime shot of San Francisco? College football on Versus is brought to you by Foster's, Australian for beer. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote. Beautiful city of San Francisco, which is actually hosting Pac-12 football this year. California playing its home games at Pac Bell Park, the home of the San Francisco Giants, while their stadium in Berkeley is being redone. They'll be playing USC, in fact, coming up Thursday night there. You look down on the Stanford sideline, you see all kinds of notables. Number 44 there is a walk-on, John Flacco. And that's right, he is the younger brother of Joe Flacco. It's a walk-on wide receiver dressed here tonight for Stanford. Longtime college basketball coach Mark Gottfried was in the Stanford offices yesterday when we were up there. His son is a walk-on tight end on the Stanford team. A good hard run for Colorado. Out across the 25-yard line goes sophomore running back Josh Ford. And there is Michael Spanos, a running back. He is the grandson of Alex Spanos, the owner of the San Diego Chargers.
A lot of notable names down there.
Showed you earlier a couple of Stanford greats watching. There's Tyler Hansen watching. Nick Hirschman is taken over as the quarterback from Colorado, throws his first ball, and it's caught by Tyler McCullough. So Stanford moving another step closer in the season, and next week we'll be following them up to Pullman as Stanford will play Washington State. That is always a challenge to go to the Palouse, and it's homecoming for the Cougars, who are playing tonight with a chance to win their 4th game. So that has the ability to be an awfully entertaining night. We'll be with you here on Versus, 7:30 East, 4:30 West.
Coach Wolf's kind of turning that program up there around a little bit. He's been building it. Of course, he lost Jeff Toole. Everybody thought what was going to happen, but Lobostal's come in and playing great for him, and they're putting up points.
As Colorado found out last week when Washington State beat them there, and Jeff Toole is back. He might be back next week to play, which could give Paul Wolf an interesting decision. Washington State playing tonight at UCLA. As Colorado punts it away with just over 4 minutes to play. As Stanford to extend its nation's best winning streak here to 13.
And Oregon gets their win on Thursday night over Cal, but LaMichael James had that elbow injury. Again, Arizona's defense struggling. They've just lost their 5th in a row. They're putting up points, but they're averaging, giving up 43 points a game, and you just can't win doing that. Utah, Jordan Wynn went down hurt. John Hayes came in. They've been struggling a bit with their quarterback, and again, like we just said, the Cougars retooling up in the Palouse. Jeff Toole, is he going to be ready? Is he not? But Lobostal playing very well in his absence.
And the other story that we referenced earlier, Arizona State winning earlier today at Utah. And Arizona State right now leading the South, and they are, we're still in October, but Arizona State, the way things are shaping up, is absolutely controls its own destiny to play in the first Pac-12 championship game, which, by the way, is going to be played, unlike the other conference championship games, it's going to be played on a home field.
I love the decision. The decision to put it where you get a game atmosphere. A neutral site somewhere off there, it's not the same. Nobody has that decided advantage. This is going to be an exciting way to do it.
Brett Nottingham continuing on as the Stanford quarterback. Because of the new size of the conference, there's no longer a round robin schedule. Arizona State this year misses Stanford and Washington. Not bad.
Not bad.
That's a nice break for the Sun Devils.
Yeah, and just the way it worked out, and this is the year they can make their run. This is the year it works out for them, and they've got a lot of talent on that team and get themselves a chance to play for that title.
Now Stanford simply trying to run the clock out on its 5th win to start this season. Running play will be stopped for a loss. It is Ricky Seal, first-year player, second year in the program from Escondido, California. The other part about Stanford's season is that we've talked about their schedule so far hadn't been all that tough, but you have to look at a schedule as a full season. And Stanford's last 3 games are Oregon, California, the rivalry game, and then Notre Dame, a team that, despite 2 losses, has started to play well and could well be a 9-2 team when they come here.
Very much so. So when you look at that Oregon, a team that beat them last year and could very rightly beat them again, a rivalry game in which anything can happen and usually does, and then a team that is putting up a lot of points in Notre Dame. Right. It does not get easier. And if Stanford could win, it could win out to win those games. They could actually play another one. They could be the host team for the Pac-12 championship game. Lots of coulds and ifs. Here's the definite. Hockey is back. The season underway on Versus. The Lightning and the Capitals, Stamkos and Ovechkin head-to-head Monday night. The Stanley Cup champion Bruins and the Hurricanes on Wednesday night. Hockey here on Versus. And then we're back next Saturday. Part of college football on Versus will be with you in Pullman, Washington. Stanford and Washington State. Under 2 minutes to go here as Colorado starts. Hirschman playing for the first time, gives it off to Josh Ford, and he is running it out across the 30-yard line. If you're a Colorado fan, okay, you like what you're doing here. Let's get something positive. So they get a nice game. You know, it's first down. They get themselves 6 yards. So now can we win a second down? Because these are the coaching points John Embry's going to use tomorrow and the next day to tell his team about the next game. Can we just put a couple of things together consistently and build off of that? Nice moments here for Nick Hirschman. He's getting a chance. This is a home game for him. And that's a handoff inside for a short game. Nick Hirschman is from Los Gatos, California, which is about 40 minutes or so south of here, just outside of San Jose. Also the hometown where Trent Edwards, who quarterbacked here and is looking for work right now in the pros. But Trent Edwards is also a Los Gatos graduate. And for me, obviously, Los Gatos means the cats in Spanish. Dying to know how that town got its name. Well, you're shocked. It has in this area, a renowned, one of the premier steakhouses in Los Gatos. And its name? Cats. Stanford with a stop there, and that might well be the final play of the night. And for Stanford, lots of smiles. This has become the pattern. Stanford not just winning 13 in a row, but winning decisively. Their margins of victories have been amazing. Their margin of victory for Stanford in the last 25 games they've won. Stanford's average margin of victory is over 25 points, average margin. And tonight they got a team in Colorado that was down and that was undermanned without question. And Stanford, you know, it's almost, you say it's almost surgical, isn't it, Glenn? They don't really just come out and smack you rudely. They just pound you down. They want to brawl, they turn it into a brawl, but what they do is they identify weaknesses that you have, they attack them, and you know what? Again, what's a team do? A team you're supposed to win, you win the games you're supposed to win. Well, Coach David Shaw, when he went off at halftime, you could tell he was clearly unhappy. We'll see if he's any happier now as we go down to Akbar.
Hey, Coach, great win. What makes your winning stamina, your competitive stamina, better than any team in the country?
You know, the thing with us, we got tough kids that play hard. We throw a lot of scheme at them. We ask them a lot to do academically. We ask them a lot to do football-wise. And our kids rise to the challenge.
Coach, a lot of coaches are afraid to embrace success, early success. You guys are now 5-0. How have you embraced it?
The thing with us is we know there are no trophies given for winning 5 games. We don't have a bowl game yet. Our guys, we got a lot of mature kids, tough kids. They just like playing football. So we're just going to keep playing, keep showing up every Saturday.
Coach, your first year, of course, now you talked about being 5-0 and it's early. But 5-0, what do you know for sure at this point in your coaching career?
The one thing I know for sure, we can be a lot better than we are. We can be a lot better. There's a lot of room for improvement. And our seniors know that. That's most of what was said on our sidelines as the clock was ticking away. I had a great talk with Andrew, and Andrew said, you know, we got a lot to improve on.
Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate it.
In fact, there's a banner that hangs on the Stanford practice field that says you're either getting better or you're getting worse. You never stay the same. That sounds exactly like what David Shaw just said. We'll be back to Stanford on Versus.
Clicks.
Over 500 offensive yards again for Stanford. Just a clinical night where they take apart Colorado 48-7. Stanford, Andrew Luck, a huge night himself. And let's go down to the field again in Akbar.
Andrew, 370 yards, 3 touchdowns. What'd you learn about your team against a team that you guys could have easily fell asleep against?
Well, I think they were a good team. I'm glad we came out and put some points on the board and, had a special teams touchdown. I think that was huge. And, defensively played well, but, learn that, we can win games like these, but, we're still going to need to improve a lot.
At 5-0, you guys are really at the top of the North. What do you guys see going forward as far as Washington State for next week?
Haven't really started on Washington State yet since we had the game tonight, but I know they've been a steadily improving team. It's going to be tough up in Pullman. They're tough. They get after it, so we're definitely going to have our hands full.
John Elway told me on the sideline that you're very quick with your release under pressure. When you see pressure, what does that feel like for you when you got guys harassing you out of the pocket?
Our offensive coordinator, Coach Pep Hamilton, always says, pressure is an opportunity for a big play, so we take it to heart, all the quarterbacks on this team. And, anytime we see pressure, we realize, they have a chance to get to the quarterback, but it's also, a chance to get a big play down the field. So, try to embrace it and take advantage of it.
Well, you took that opportunity. Congratulations.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Nice talking.
All right.
Andrew Luck's second most prolific passing game of his Stanford career, 370 yards, 3 touchdowns. And Stanford rolls as expected tonight, 48-7, 13 straight, longest winning streak in the country. We'll join our trio in New York, Liam, Big Row, and Doug, when we come back with college football on Versus.